Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes to see if anyone else hops in, but thank you for being here. My name is Dottie. My pronouns are they, them. I'm one of the co-chairs this semester, and I live in the South Bay by LAX, so you might hear airplane noises and various apartment building noises in the background. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Like I said, my name is Dottie. I'm just going to wait a few more minutes to see if anyone comes in. Thank you. Oh, before we get started, are you all able to participate in the discussion section, just in case there's like questions or any sort of specific topics y'all are curious about, like to know that we can interact? Well, all right. I think I'm gonna get going just talking about our YDSA chapter a little bit and sort of what we have planned for this semester and what realistically our club looks like during online classes, COVID, and a lot of distance and separation between some of our comrades. So first off, we are a YDSA chapter, so we're part of DSA National as a organization. So Democratic Socialists of America, if you're not familiar, is one of the largest organizations that fights against anti-capitalism in many of its different facets. There's a lot of every way we live our life intersects with anti-capitalism. So it's really great that you're here. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so our club this semester functions on our Discord server. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's an online like interactive workspace, sort of. If you're familiar with Slack, maybe it's a really similar interface. But it functions through different channels that you can navigate in a sidebar that are organized by different topics or projects. And we also have voice channels where we can meet sort of like a Zoom call and share video and screen sharing if we want to. So we're planning on this semester doing weekly political education meetings, practical organizing topics, basically anything that you want to bring to the club or discuss taught by our members. So some of the different topics that we've sort of thought about or brainstormed were how to run meetings as a facilitator, basic first aid at protests and different events, or as a street medic during housing and homelessness outreach stuff, perhaps different political education about specific policies, histories, theories, and sorry, I'm getting the notifications about the broadcast and I get so distracted very easily. My bad. So the Discord server, different political education topics. Most of what I would personally think is realistic for us as a club this semester, with a lot of our previous core members transferring or not coming back to SMC or participating in other things right now. I really just want to build up our participation and our comradely relationships in a really low pressure way where you can participate at any capacity that's comfortable for you. A large part of what I would like to do is, depending on what your specific interests are, what your specific passions, motivations, whatever drives you, help you get in contact with and organized with local organizations to you. So for example, DSA LA has a lot of different projects that are for specific things. Like something they just did and are working on again is the stimulus solidarity campaign. So undocumented folks in America don't receive stimulus checks. So they organized a campaign fundraiser for people to donate the entirety or a portion of their stimulus checks to this campaign to have it be redistributed to families who did not get checks. That's a great project that you could get connected into through comrades or folks that you may meet on campus in our YDSA chapter. So something I participate in a lot is Street Watch LA, which is an abolitionist housing subcommittee of DSA LA that does a lot of monitoring of sweeps of homeless encampments and also outreach to our unhoused neighbors and organizing and building power among ourselves as tenants. There's lots and lots and lots of projects happening in LA right now and different ways for us to come together and support each other as organizers as we go off into different endeavors that may be more specific to our interests or what we want to spend our time doing. In the past, SMC, DSC has done great mutual aid projects. For example, a couple semesters ago, the club bought a bunch of tap cards and redistributed them to students, filled them, of course, with some money and redistributed them to students using our budget. And I would love for us to be able to do projects like this in the future and talk as organizers and come up with our own bigger direct action. But right now, I think our focus is really on just building up our membership and building up people's, just empowering y'all as organizers and as anti-capitalists. So yeah, okay, I just spoke a lot and threw a lot at y'all. I still am not seeing any comments in the discussion area. If someone doesn't mind just like sending something in just to be like, yes, we have the ability to comment, that would be awesome. But yeah, if there's any questions or other concerns, maybe you have a specific interest that you want to get into. Like I said, we're really sort of building from the ground up again as we're moving online this semester. And it's been a bit of a hard transition trying to get people to feel empowered to participate. But I'm really excited for the different ways people are getting radicalized with the uprisings and the protests and the way COVID has affected us and exacerbated all the problems that capitalism has been causing for centuries and colonialism. And yeah, sorry, I'm gonna start going off. Anyway, thank you all for being here again. Yeah, if you are joining us and you didn't get the beginning of the broadcast, we are going to be functioning all online this semester on our Discord server, which is an online platform you can download on your desktop device or mobile device. We have voice meetings as well as channels where we can participate in discussions. And our goal is to just build relationships as comrades and empower y'all to organize out in the world on your own outside of this club. Yeah, that's most of what I've got right now. I was also just thinking about talking about some other projects that are going on in LA right now to get involved in, because again, my goal is really just to have people feel empowered to organize locally in their area. I think organizing in your neighborhood specifically is the best way to build the skills that we need to build to overturn the oppressive systems that we're dealing with. And I just want to make sure that everyone is able to build those relationships and do that work. So let's see, what are some other projects that people can get involved in? Okay, Youth Justice Coalition is an incredible organization, abolitionist organization that recently there was a lawsuit against the LAPD, I believe, about their misuse of the gang database and how it's absolutely unconstitutional and ridiculous. And they won that suit. It was wonderful. But also they do incredible direct action, power building and organizing. So CAT 911, Community Alternatives to Policing, is a program that they started where they train their organizers in first aid, mediation, mental health, crisis handling, like different like skills that you would need as a first responder in your community if someone were having an emergency or a conflict or some sort of harm was caused. It's a way to approach harm in your communities without having to involve state violence and oppressive systems like cops. That's just one example of a great project that I would love to have people from SMC representing at or learning about or participating in. What else? No Olympics LA. If you have not heard of No Olympics LA, they are a group that is opposing the mass militarization and gentrification and displacement that happens as a result of cities preparing to host the Olympic Games. For example, this happened in Brazil. It's happening in Tokyo right now as they still try to host the Olympics. But right now, our city is planning on hosting the Olympics in 2028. So if you've heard of SoFi Stadium that's being built right now that caused massive displacement in Inglewood, that's something that's hugely opposed by No Olympics. There's a teach-in tailgate this Saturday. I believe it's in a parking lot adjacent to SoFi. I'm sure you can find the information on their social media. It's NOLYMPICS, No Olympics. So they do a lot of community education work and teach-ins and different conversations with international Olympics opposition groups. It's really incredible work, and it's something that I would love people to get involved in. And it's sort of my hope that we can all go, not necessarily physically go out into the world right now, because I want y'all to protect your own health and safety above everything. Well, okay, I'm going to start going into digressions and tangential stuff, but if you're quarantining, please keep quarantining. Don't feel the need to break that to organize. Anyway, my point is that it's my hope that we can go out on our own as organizers and do this work that we are particularly passionate about as individuals, and then bring it back to the club and support each other in that work and learn from each other in that work. So meeting up once a week and talking about what kind of actions did you participate in? What did you learn about oppressive systems in your world this week? Like, how can we emotionally support each other or share resources or tools or coping mechanisms with each other? That sort of support group is what I hope YDSA SMC can be this semester, as we start to build the capacity and relationships that we need to take on larger projects and mutual aid work and disrupting of the system that we want to disrupt. Yeah. I really appreciate all the people who have stuck around for the entirety of this. Tend to be uncomfortable with silence and I ramble. Thank you for bearing with me. Let's see. So originally the club functioned with different committees and different groups that were specific to areas of anti-capitalism, such as eco-socialism, transportation committee, different specific roles and interests that people could participate in the club with. But because there's sort of been a vacuum of leadership or the ability of people to participate consistently in committees like that, there's sort of loose topics that we can explore as club members and talk about and find ways to specifically support ongoing projects rather than trying to bite off more than we can chew as a club right now that may be distanced either physically. I don't know where all of you are calling in from. I appreciate you being here wherever you are at, but I know maybe not everyone's even in LA or Southern California or in the country. Like, I want to help. As a co-chair, it is my goal to help you all find ways to participate in direct action, no matter where you are or what your ability is to do things that are traditionally considered direct action, like protesting or, things that maybe not everyone has the capacity to do. There's just so many ways to fight the oppressive systems that we want to fight as anti-capitalists, and I would like us to help each other along on that path. Yeah. I'm gonna mess around a bit with the settings and see if maybe there's a reason you're not able to comment. It's okay if you guys just don't want to, or y'all just don't want to, because I know forcing people to talk when they don't want to is an oppressive form of facilitation. Just got to make room for it. That's something I'm learning about right now. Also, I think I was unmuted for like half an hour before I started broadcasting. I'm sorry if anyone was in here and just heard me going about my day. Oh, sorry. I'm back. Oh my gosh. Oh, I am just now seeing all those comments. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Okay. I didn't realize I've been out of the loop. Okay. Okay. So I'm seeing I'm confused by the acronyms used today. Definitely feel free if there's specific ones. So DSA stands for Democratic Socialists of America. It's the national organization we're a part of. YDSA. Okay, hello. Hello, it's. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I am going to send the Discord link right now for you to join our Discord and again, my sincerest apologies for not refreshing. Gonna do that again in a moment. Wow. So sorry. Okay. Yes. Any more specific questions? If there's acronyms that you remember that you want to ask about, please send them in. DSA and Students for Progressive Action. I'm actually not familiar with Students for Progressive Action. So also, okay, we're back. Also, I'm sorry if us having the name Democratic Socialist Club instead of YDSA in our name was confusing for anyone. That was a decision made by our previous co-chairs, but we are an official YDSA chapter and part of the larger organization of DSA. So YDSA stands for Young Democratic Socialists of America, and it's the name of the youth wing of this national organization. Yeah. Okay. Again, I'm really sorry for my tech ineptitude. I fully take accountability for needing to have prepared better for this, and I apologize. And I appreciate your participation and patience with me. Okay. So I sent the link to join our Discord server in the chat. Please let me know if there's any trouble with that. That does expire in 24 hours, so if you don't join today, reach out again. I'm also going to send our email in the chat. One moment. And you can reach out to us on Instagram. Thank you for commenting that, Matahai. I am also sorry if I incorrectly pronounced her name. Again, thank you everyone for being here. I'm sorry I didn't have like a full 45-minute presentation prepared, but I really just wanted to be honest and realistic about where the club is at right now. A lot of people transferred out. A lot of people aren't returning to SMC because of online classes. So we just want to build up capacity again, and I'm glad you all are here. Josie asked, do you have any specific meeting days as of right now? Because the club page says the list of fall clubs won't be listed until the third week of classes. So I think this might be part of our problem is we currently meet 3 p.m. on Mondays in our general voice channels, and we meet for an hour, so from 3 to 4 p.m. This was decided on, I believe, a couple months ago, partway into the summer, and I just think people's schedules and capacities have been changing so rapidly that Mondays at 3 p.m. is no longer realistic for a lot of people. And I think once the semester starts, that timing is also not realistic for a lot of people because of the way classes are scheduled. So once you join the Discord, I'll be sending out a when to meet, which is a link where you can put in your availability on like a week schedule once the semester starts, not for immediately. And based on the replies to that and what days it seems like the most people are able to participate, we'll schedule the meetings then. And yeah, I believe they're not listing until the third week of classes because that's when our interclub council meetings start. Yeah. Wow, it's really nice now that I figured out that I have to refresh the page. I'm so sorry, y'all. Thank you. I'm excited that you all are here and participating, and thank you for continuously trying. I appreciate you all. Thank you. I also wanted to say right now I'm the only club leadership, and it's because there's just a vacuum, and I am willing to check our emails and respond to people and host things, and I like talking to people. So I am like, if you are a passionate, motivated, driven organizer, or if that's your goal, that's what you want to be, let's talk, because you yourself could be a co-chair and literally just take over this position. I am not attached to leadership positions or positions of power, and if you feel like you can like take this club to the next level and like really continue it, like you, I want you to feel empowered to do that. So the what is due in 24 hours, I was just saying that link that I sent to join our Discord server, it expires in 24 hours. By the way, if you do join, please introduce yourself so we know who you are. Sometimes people just hang out as ghosts in the Discord server, and it's kind of like, come on, introduce yourself. Okay, so once we join the Discord link, are you going to send messages through there or Instagram? We usually communicate through Discord. I post general information about events or different direct action or political education stuff on our Instagram, and I try to stay up to date on our DMs, but I also just personally have an unhealthy relationship with social media, and I'm trying to work on that. So it's I don't know. Sorry for digressing on that, but mostly I try to send out info and updates through our Discord server, or also through the SMC community Discord server, which is really rad. I hope y'all have heard about that. If you haven't, it's another Discord server that is for the larger SMC community as a whole. So different clubs have different channels on there, and you can join different clubs. They worked really hard on building an awesome interactive platform for that, and we're on there and sending updates through our Democratic Socialist Club channel. So keep an eye out on there as well. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more. I'm gonna refresh again really quick, 1 second. Y'all know how excited I am that there's been consistently 15 people in this the entire time. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you. This both of these artworks were actually done by my mother's ex-boyfriend. Great artist. Okay, guy. And we can do it art. Yeah, everything cool about me I inherited from my mother, and I live with her, including these artworks. So thank you. What else? What else? I've been trying to make like a weekly newsletter. If anyone is interested in like, I don't know, I was a journalism major before I switched to recycling and resource management. So I love like making little zines and doing stuff like that. And I would really love if people want to help out with like a newsletter just with different info and things to collect that we want to like send out to our membership. I'd love to have a discussion about like what we would want to include in that content as a club. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Josie. Nice. Yeah, something I really wanted to keep front and center with the club this year is like people not feeling overwhelmed by their capacity to participate. I'm seeing just in the organizing spaces around me and with my friends and comrades, a lot of burnout. Oh, thank you. Like just people not understanding their own boundaries and their own capacity to do things and where their energy and their skills are really the most effective. And I just want to help y'all and have us all help each other figure out that kind of thing. It's really important that we continue to build support networks and like spaces where we can do inner work as well as, you know, participating in the world around us. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I'm also going to send my personal email in the chat just because I tend to remember to check that every single day, and I don't necessarily, it's every 2 to 3 days that I check the YDSA one. So feel free to reach out to me through there as well. Yeah, I don't know. What's something I thought? Oh, there's this really rad thing that I think everyone should Google today if you have some free time. It's called Our Roles in a Social Change Ecosystem by Deepa Iyer. I'll see if I can send you the link really quick before we have to end the broadcast, but really quick, a summary of it is like, if you haven't seen it, it's basically like a way of breaking down different specific skill sets and motivations and mindsets of people who participate in social change movements. And it's a way to sort of categorize your own understanding of yourself to find out how you can best be of use to furthering the movement. So like, for example, and there's a lot of overlap between these different roles. It's not like you take a quiz and you're categorized as one of them, but it's like really just figuring out like what kind of work feels the most rewarding to me, but what kind of work am I used to? What kind of work am I told I'm good at but don't necessarily enjoy? Things like that. But some of the examples of the different roles are like disruptors, people who are constantly questioning why an organization is doing what it's doing and what its motivations are, and are we really on point, on goal for the movement. healers who do a lot of like spiritual work and interpersonal work and conversation and healing the intergenerational trauma that we're dealing with. What else? Bridge builders, people who are able to form coalitions and create alliances and understand where our motivations overlap and where they don't. Just a really interesting read, and that's the kind of stuff that I want us to be able to discuss as a group. I'm going to send the link for that as well. I'll be back in one moment. There it is. But yeah, I sent that in one of the newsletters. So it's like, I don't know, just stuff that can be like helpful and educational. Love it. Love that stuff. Also, we have a lot of like regional things happening just with different YDSA chapters, like UCLA YDSA, Occidental YDSA, Merced, hopefully, because I have some friends through Streetwatch who were in UC Merced YDSA. I don't know, just different like collaborations with other YDSA chapters that are possible as well. Yeah. Thank you. Man, is there any more questions? Yeah, I think I've expended my talking for the hour or half hour. Oh my God, I didn't even do like introductions. Please, if you feel comfortable, send me like your pronouns and where you're calling in from, like whatever information you feel comfortable sharing, maybe like your major or like where you grew up, what brings you to the club. Like we have about 10 more minutes left. God, my brain's been all over the place the past 4 days or so. So apologies. That's clearly coming out in this presentation. The Valley is rad. Lots of parts of LA have the problems that the Valley has, I feel like. Yeah, there was actually a Valley Street Watch member was arrested for not allowing, well, I think they said that he like vandalized their caution tape or something, but yeah, our members have been creating blockades between people's tents and belongings and the sanitation and cops who come to seize bulky items unconstitutionally because unhoused folks don't deserve to have belongings, I suppose. But anyway, lots to get involved in the Valley for sure. Political science, that's tight. What kind of like office are you into running for? There's a rad local election going on right now near me. So if you're not familiar, Fatima Iqbal Zubair is running for state assembly in District 64. So that's like a lot of South Central and South LA, and she is just an incredible candidate. She's been a teacher and educator for a long time and really understands like systemic inequality, whether it's environmental racism, educational inequality, redlining, and housing inequality. It's all part of her platform, and she's super vocal. DSA has incredible electoral politics to participate in, locally especially, which is really exciting, because you can really like see the change happening right in front of your eyes. Gets really demotivating when you don't. 100-degree temperatures. Yeah, get out there with the frozen water bottles. Awesome, poli-sci majors. Nice. Does anyone have any particular classes they're super excited that they're enrolled in this semester? I remember my first semester, I had to take like a bunch of general ed courses. Man, had a really mean math teacher, but had a great film teacher. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bio major, that's awesome. I've always been more of a life sciences person over like a chem or physical sciences type thing. I like being able to draw the diagrams. Oh gosh, I can't remember his name. It was Math 54, or no, that's the stats ones. I don't know. I'll keep in contact with you, Anna, because we need to be put in contact anyway. But yeah, basically my anxiety gets triggered really easily when people get loud out of nowhere when I'm not expecting it, like any loud noises. And he used to do this thing where he'd speak really quietly, and then to get our attention when he didn't think we were paying attention, he would like start screaming in the middle of his sentence. Terrifying. I couldn't focus. Why you do that, guy? I don't know. Philosophy major, awesome. Psych from Central Illinois, hail the corn. Nice. Computer engineering, that's rad. Wearable tech. Awesome. Wow, it's really great to like be chatting with you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, cool. I'm just realizing I can like people's things. Hello, thank you all for being here. Yeah, it's like, it's wild. Yeah, there's also like so much, I know we're about to end here and hop off soon, but there's lots of discussions we can have about how to implement anti-oppressive and anti-capitalist tactics at SMC specifically. There's a lot of like fucked shit in the college system. There is. And it's an interesting position we're put in as anti-capitalists going to college and participating in this system. So like, I am also looking forward to those kind of conversations. Yeah. Oh, y'all are so sweet. I'm really glad I refreshed. Again, entirely my fault, and I take accountability of the fact that I should have been paying more attention to the brazen tricks and tips. Oh man. All right, well, I think I am gonna be ending the broadcast pretty soon, but please get on our Discord server, and if you do not get a response from me and you're reaching out, whether it's through our Gmail or my personal Gmail or something like that, keep bugging me. I won't find you annoying. I sometimes just let the slack go on certain things. We all do. It's okay. But y'all are amazing, and I cannot wait to organize with y'all this semester. Sorry for my shaky camera work. All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you.